Hello everyone. So I'm going to do a little introduction just to say thank you for joining us this evening. I'm Sarah from Cult Pens and we're hosting the workshop this evening alongside Edding, and helping me is lovely Anna, who's also from Cult Pens. We're going to answer any questions you may have in the chat. Tonight we're going to be exploring edding acrylics with Louise from Lillypea Designs, looking at just some of the different ways that you can use edding acrylic markers to get creative. We'll be handing over to Louise in just a minute, but we've got to do a little bit of housekeeping. If anyone's been to a workshop before, you know what this is. We anticipate that this session will last up to an hour, so please do get comfy. The session is being recorded and we'll make the recording available later on, maybe next week, hopefully. So if you do miss anything, you'll have the chance to go back and take another look and watch it in your own time. All cameras and sound are switched off for the duration of the session, so please ask using either the chat or the Q&A function. We'll do our best to answer any questions and we will gently interrupt Louise as we go along. So if you're ready, Louise, it's going to be over to you in a second. I just wanted to know small introduction about yourself. Tell us what you into everything creative. I will spotlight you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I think oh no, I'm just going to do that. Hi, hello. So I'm a bit of a creative bod. I started out in graphic design. I've always drawn, I've always painted, and I kind of after my children I decided to go back to sort of finding what I was actually really passionate about creative wise, and just started going back to basics, picking up pens and pencils and paints and brushes, and I just became fascinated with nature and wildlife, and so hence started painting flowers and bees, and I've just progressed from strength to strength, like selling online with various channels, and then pairing up with Edding, who are absolutely lovely, and testing all their products out. And this is how I am here today.
Amazing. That's lovely to know. And so what sort of things are we going to be looking at this evening?
So I've tried to look at things that you might have in the home that you might want to upcycle, give new life to, or say there's something that you're thinking of throwing away, but actually you could give new life to. The acrylic pens, they pretty much work on everything and are so easy to use. And so for example, I've got this little tray that I've had, and I just thought, do you know what, it's really great for like serving tea. I'm going to write tea time on it and like embellish it with perhaps any kind of patterns around the sides. So that's half done, so we can kind of like continue with that. I also wanted to show you that maybe you've got a lampshade knocking around, so this is plain, and then you could turn it into a kind of wild flower scene with bees. So they're very easy to like adorn lampshades. I've also had a go at doing my own little notebook, which is really good fun. And this would be a really good thing for like teachers, teachers' gifts, because we're coming to like year end now. You could decorate at the front of the notebook and they'd be using this every day. So that's a really good thing to do and get creative. You don't have to do flowers, you can do almost anything. And then the other thing I came to was a vase. So this is like a donut vase, quite popular at the moment. And so I adorned it with like a wash. You don't actually have to just use the acrylics as they are. You can actually water them down and then give them like a real watercolor effect. You just got to obviously let each layer dry. So I started off with the background wash, let it dry, and then started introducing all the bees. So hopefully we will touch base on all those parts. But I thought, first of all, we'll start with the tray, because that's a quite simpler. It's just drawing out your text and then lining it out. I've done a kind of acrylic, a calligraphy kind of style of writing. So I don't know if anyone knows about calligraphy. Basically, the downward strokes are thicker, the upward strokes are lighter. So that's what gives you the thicker downward motion here. And I've kind of traced this out with a pencil first to kind of give me an outline. And then I took one of the bullet tips, the 2 to 3 millimeter bullet tip in green, and then just started coloring it in. It's really actually really simple. So when you do get your pen, the nib will be clear. It'll have like a so for example, this is one that I've not used. You can see that it's kind of like a sort of a beigey pale color. And what you need to do is you first start off shaking your pen. You can hear like the ball inside shaking around, mixing up all that paints. And then you have to just press down the nib down a few times until the paint comes down the nib. And it's really simple. And once you've done that, you're ready to roll. So I'm just going to go in, and this is like a wood base. So it goes on really, really easily. And I'm just going to trace around where I had drawn my tea time. So I was kind of thinking this would be great for serving tea, or you could have done it for a gin time, I suppose, gin o'clock. Some people might like that.
You haven't done anything to the wood before you've...
No, this is
applied the
exactly
acrylic.
how it came. It's going on really, really nicely. You've got real precision because it's in a pen nib. And then I'm just going in and just colouring in. This is the beginning of the tea. Really simple. You just be careful whilst it's wet. It takes a few seconds to dry. It's not imminently dry, so just be careful. So you can hear it easily going on there. Upward strokes thin, and then the downward strokes are thicker. So I'm just imitating. Obviously, this isn't like a calligraphy pen, but you can create the calligraphy look nonetheless. So that's my time. I've just got this loop, lovely loop coming around here, the tea. Just filling that in. You can turn it around easily just to like kind of make it easier for yourself. And you can see it's got really great coverage, like wherever you put this nib, the paint goes. So it's perfect for anything like this. So you see how quickly I've managed to do that. It's really almost effortless. You can do it really well. And so whilst that dried, you can see that I've done like a slight shadow with the black on the tea, and then I've highlighted it with a lighter bluey color, which is pastel blue. So once that's dried, then you can do like this shadowing effect. But what I was also thinking, you could kind of decorate it with some florals. I'm going to go in with a 1 to 2 millimeter nibbed. This is Classy Mauve. So I'm just going to, as if like there's lots of flowers sort of climbing in around the image. I tend, when I'm doing flowers and I want to kind of give them more of a colourful effect, start with the light and then go in with the dark afterwards. So once those have dried, you can kind of go in with the darker colours. Just real simple flowers coming in here. Do a bit of this kind of a wisteria kind of falling flower, which you could use with your green again, or you can go in with like a lighter green. I tend to have a piece of, this is a piece of brown paper here, it's doubled over. Sometimes you just want to just check the nib and just check it's all working really well. So just kind of add in these stems. I'm going to have some wisteria coming down, I think, down here. It's quite a light green. You can then top it up with your dark green as well. But what I find really good is that you can use these like really well just to, you know, little dots of colour coming in. You can layer it up. I don't know, I put quite a few reels out beginning of this, and it kind of showed me doing the notebook. And there are also in the range these really fun double-ended, they're not quite pens, they're Gigi, you might have to tell me what these ones are called, but they have a double-ended nib. So this is like a thick one,
Basically just double liners, yeah.
Double liners, yeah, that's it, sorry.
No worries.
And then you've got a thin one here, and they're great just for like more texture, so it's not so flat. You can then, because obviously acrylic dries hard, and you can have more relief effect to all the things that you do. So they're great. I'll just bring in that notebook actually, because you can kind of try and see, I don't know if you can see, like the texture here is a bit more lumpier, and it's just really quite tactile. It's really nice. So yeah, so you can continue just going around doing all this to your tray, and going in with other colors. It's also a bit like layering, sort of really sort of layering up your colors and your paints. Or actually you could transfer it to a thicker nib and do really chunky marks. This is like the biggest bullet tip. So I'm using this now. It's coming in, you're kind of covering a lot more area here. So it's kind of working a bit better. So yeah.
What would you say is one of your favorite colors from the edding range?
So my favorite color, where is it? It is, I think it's the magenta. The magenta, Belly magenta. Yeah, that's one of my favorites there. It's a really gorgeous kind of pink color. What else? I love the yellows. Like all the yellows are really strong. They're, you know, they really do kind of shine out there. I'm just going to try to bring in some yellow somewhere. Got some. A bit of a wildflower meadow bit going at the bottom, maybe.
You can really see how vibrant that yellow is.
Yeah,
like you said.
it's really strong. Yeah, it's great. And actually try and balance it out might be quite nice up here. So and yeah, they're really thick. They're really, yeah, really strong, really vibrant. And they're really good fun to use. They're so easy. I'm going to come in with some of this. Might be quite nice just to come and bring the wisteria over this side. Sort of match it up. You could be just carrying on doing this, like just whittle the hours away. It's so much fun. So like, and the thing is with painting is like you just focus on this. You can't really focus on anything else. So, you know, if you're worrying about something, get the paints out, get painting. You know, this is the only thing you can think about at the time. Just takes your mind off everything else. So in that respect, it's quite mindful and good for the mental soul. So
someone's asked, can you use them on shiny surfaces, e.g. glazed ceramics?
So yes, I have, this is a glazed ceramic plant pot, and I was thinking of doing like a really fun drip effect, sort of bringing in the water with the pens. So if everyone's happy, we can move on to that. That's absolutely fine, unless you wish to finish this. I just wanted to kind of show you all the different ways in which it could be used. So there are also some really fun kind of neon colors. So we've got this pink, which is pretty funky. Yeah, neon pink. Got some neon orange here. So maybe we should just go a bit neon with this vase. So I've got some neon yellow as well. So they come with a little cellophane kind of wrapper with a perforated for easy access. So that came off quite well if you've got nails, so that's absolutely fine. So again, yeah, you want to give it a good shake.
Like the neon is good for summer.
I bet, yeah, they've kind of really, the colors kind of really summery. So yeah, I'm just pumping the nib and sometimes just hold it down. It can take a little while to do this, but once you've got past this stage, it's you know, you're ready to roll straight away. You might just have to pump it a couple of times just to bring the ink down when you're using them. So right, so we got some of that. So I was thinking of going in with a big kind of blob, even maybe bringing it in here, and then just running my brush into it with water. So I'm just going to put that down. So I got some water here and a brush. I'm just going to drop it from the top here and let that run down, kind of create a drip effect. And I'm just going to do that with every color. I just thought that'd be quite fun and easy to do. So I'm gonna go back and paint my other colors. So this is your berry, which is very cool. We just did the oh, he's going into the neon. You weren't meant to do that. But I just wanted to try and create a drip vase, I think, like a drip cake. I don't know if you guys have done a drip cake, but this is like quite a process of going around and just adding the colors. I'm going to go in with some yellow.
Someone's asked, will the colors stay put and not bleed?
If you're using water, then they will bleed into each other. So if you like kind of touch them together, they will. I mean, if you let them dry, each one, then it shouldn't actually be a problem. I think so. Yeah, but look, this is going on really nicely, even though I've done that drip. I'm just going to do a line now. This is like a glazed pot. I think I'm just going to kind of continue. Actually, you could just do some really amazing funky lines down here. He's got feet, so I'm gonna cover his feet there. It's all about trial and error, really, I suppose. I mean, this was, depends what kind of look you're after. I just wanted to say you can use it with water and it works really well. Yeah. So I'm going to go in with my favorite one, which is Teddy Magenta. And they're very strong. I mean, they're looking very glossy going on here. Looking pretty hot colors. So yeah, that's gone on pretty well. That did have some water in, so I wouldn't expect that to be like that. That's because I put water in it. But these have come on really, really nicely. And that's a glazed pot. So I hope that answers someone's question there.
Are the colors fixed when dry?
Yes, completely. Yeah, it's acrylic. Acrylic is has a plastic in it, so it will be hard and it won't shift with water or anything like that. Once it's on, it's on. Oh, brilliant. So I was just going to show you this one that I've done. I've done a little tiny, this is a candle holder. I've literally just cut out a little heart with my masking tape, and you could mask anything and then go in with your colors, like with lots of dots.
Someone's asked, even though I could probably find it on the Cult Pens website, but nice to see the different types, models and thickness of the pens. So maybe if you could try holding it close up to have a look.
Yeah, sure. So let's go with the thick chunky nib, which is 5 to 10. I'm trying to see, sorry. That's my finger. Trying to look at
Yeah, that looks good.
is it zooming in and out? I don't know. There you go.
There you go.
That's the thickest one. All right, let's go in. This is your 2 to 3 millimeter bullet head. So the previous one was a chisel tip. This is a bullet head.
Love fingers for scale.
I'm trying to. I should really have a penny or something. I got a pencil. Hang on. There we go. There's a pencil. Does that help? Okay. And then we have the thinnest one. Bear with me. So this is 1 to 2 mil. And you can actually go quite thin with this one. If you're quite light-handed, it works really well, like for thin lines. So that's the smallest one. So I was thinking you could just kind of do lots and lots of dots on here. Probably best with a thicker one. Let me just grab my stuff. There we go.
Say stash, how many do you think?
I've been working alongside edding for quite a while now, so I've managed to build up my repertoire of these, which I'm very grateful for. I'm often their demo artists, so I would use them quite a lot, and I do use them in my paintings as well. I'm generally a watercolor artist, but sometimes when the colors fail me in intensity, I'll go in with these and just like really liven it up. So they're really quite versatile in their use. This floral piece that I've done behind me, I started in watercolor, but you can see that I've kind of brought in all the colors here and to try and just enrich it basically, which I think works really, really well. So yeah, they're great. You can use them for so many purposes, like within art, crafts. They're just brilliant. And you know, upcycling, anything within the home, like the pots that your kids use, pencil pots. Sort of personalize them. I'm just creating a background here. I'm going to go in with some other colors. So, and also actually, if you do go in and you accidentally get some other color on your nib, it's really quite easy to rectify. They really do kind of allow you to clean the nib just literally by, you know, pushing it down, running the ink through, and just draw a little bit with it on a piece of paper, and it kind of all comes off. So they work really, really well. So here I am actually getting other color on my nib purely because I'm trying to do this a bit quicker for you so you can see how effective it can be. So now you could go in with smaller dots, with the smaller pens. I'm just going to let that dry for a minute before I go back. We can move on to, I'll tell you what, let's move on to the vase, because then I can show you how it works with the, I don't know if you can see, but there's like this really soft wash that I've managed to get on it. And that's literally by adding water with a paintbrush and just letting the colors mingle. So that's the one I did previously. Let's bring another one in. Just going to move that bit of yellow. So right, I had here worked with, it's got the two yellows, which is, one's a lighter yellow. Sorry, someone next door has started doing some gardening. I don't know if anyone can hear that. I can shut the door if that helps.
I can't hear anything from
You
my
can't
end.
hear it. Oh, good,
So
good. Right, so the 2 yellows. Okay, so we have here is pastel yellow, which is a lighter yellow, and the traffic yellow is that really great strong yellow that's really, really vibrant. So initially I started off just adding the color around. So just a small amount in the corner, and then getting my wet brush and just letting that move around, just pushing it down to the sides, allowing like little water droplets, like drips going down, like so. And then whilst that's wet, I was just going in with the, you can see I've got green on this, so I'm just going to clean that up just by drawing it out. So that's all gone. So that's brilliant. And add some green, some light, the traffic yellow in here, just to give it more color. I'm just getting all the water on my brush. You can move that into areas that you hadn't put on, like so. I should have that the other side because I'm left-handed, going across the artwork all the time. Okay, so although this is wet, it will dry hard. It will, it's fine. It's just trying to give that kind of softer look. And just, you have to layer up a painting as you go. And then I also did add some of the pale blue, which is lovely, lovely color, pastel blue, into the mix. Added it in there. And again, then just kind of coming in with your brush and just letting it mingle. So basically that was the first stage to this vase. And I'm just going to finish that off quickly. So once that is dry, you can then go in and work on your bees. And the bees are really, really simple and really easy to do. Got some black. Like so, and then going in with some traffic yellow just to intensify. Mingling that a little bit. I suppose it's essentially to try and emulate a kind of summer haze that the bees are flying in. And then coming in with my pastel blue, which kind of, when mixed obviously with the yellow, goes a little bit greeny, which is really lovely. So that's basically the first layer of that vase. I hope you can kind of see it a bit better. And if you don't like the drips, simply just wipe them away. So that was how I first did that. I'm going to show you on here. I'm just going to flip this over and show you how I did a bee. So the bee, I used the smaller nib. So the smaller nib is 1 to 2 mil, with a black, yellow. There is also like a lovely other sunny yellow. So you can use sunny yellow. And then I used white and a bit of grey. Let me just find my more white. Yeah, that's my white. So actually you won't really see the white on here because this hasn't, I'm not using the using it where it's got the base color on, but as you can see, I used the white within the tips of the bees here, so their tails, and use the grey to bring in sort of more fluffy texture to it. So okay, so bees. Bees I kind of relate to as like a kidney bean. So if you can think of like a kidney bean shape, I start off with the black and I do a head, and then there's another band and another band like so. Then I come in with my traffic yellow and I just, hang on, let me just get that going a bit better. Come in with my traffic yellow here. And then I would come in with my white and my grey for its fluffy bottom. So also you can go in and fluff it up a little bit more. What I also did was once I placed the more sort of ink, acrylic even, on the bee, I take my brush, let's wash it off. And whilst it's still wet, you can utilize the acrylic here and you can bring up the wings like so, and you can then also do your legs quite nicely, and your antennae. Try and get a point to your brush. I'll have to come up a bit closer maybe, and then you can just eke out those wings a little bit as if they're flying, and then bring down some of that black into that bottom part just to give it some shape. And that's generally how I sort of do my bees. So, and then you could do them all the way around. You can add a little bit more black where you feel it's needed. Just dab it back in. And generally my bees have a bit of a trail. They're kind of like a pollen trail, I suppose. So they tend to have a bit of a dotty trail coming away from them or going to where they're going. So in that, and then also you can go with the orange or the sunny yellow, which is quite a lovely little summery colour. And just kind of the legs a bit more. Strengthen that. So essentially, once you've done all your bees, they're going around your donut vase in a circle and looking rather summery. So that's a donut vase, which is really, really easy to create. I've also put some green dots here and some black dots and added and just some movement and some bees on their sides, bees sort of flat on. So that's really great. I mean, the vase currently is still drying, this other one. So see, it's slightly wet in certain places, but give that another 5-10 minutes and that'll be completely dry, and then you can go on to making your bees. So the other thing that I'd done was this lampshade. So it's just, I might just move my camera up a little bit so you can see. Has that worked? Hang on, let me get it up. Okay. So just a plain lampshade, nothing fancy. I think it was about £8, something like that. And I've created this floral lavender scene with all the bees inside it and wildflowers. And how I started this off was with the white. So I wanted to create this kind of soft, summery haze feeling. So I literally just took my white, my big chunky white, which I've just got some colour, which I'm just going to take off. And really, really simply and really, really easy. Don't worry about it. Just literally up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, grass going everywhere. And I gave it a really soft look initially. So just random grasses going everywhere. Then I layered it up with a green.
And these pens don't bleed through the lampshade at all.
I don't see it's kind of bled through. There is a kind of slight different layer, I think, underneath, but it hasn't bled through onto the inside. The thing is, I suppose, with everything that you're going to use it on, it's best to kind of test it in a place that you don't really see. I haven't had any trouble with anything currently at all. So I'd pretty much say that you can use them on almost anything. I also used the acrylic thin nibbed for texture and different color. So you can kind of just squeeze these out, the nib. You can see it coming out there. And so as you squeeze, you can do your grass. I quite like the fact that it kind of does this drag. It kind of gives it a bit more texture. You can just put this onto a palette if you wanted to and just paint with it with a brush. That's absolutely fine. Or just use it like so. And I think I also use the darker color green, but that green's absolutely fine. That's great. So the only thing with these ones is that you kind of really need to let those dry before you can go on and do much more. Otherwise, you're going to sort of ruin the effect. The lavender that I've done here, I started off with the light blue, and it was just a case of layering it again, just kind of getting to know where you're going. More dots. Sorry, it's one of my doggos wanting to come in. Wants to get painting. So I just started off with that one and then going in onto another color, just layering it all up. And then getting the heavy magenta, getting that in there, getting that involved. And I've also used a bit of darker blue. My darker blue. Not sure if it is that one. Actually. Let's take a chunkier blue.
I love how just from dotting with these markers you've created several different types of flowers. I see the dog.
Yeah, sorry. He was like, came up to say hello. The trouble is, if I lock them away, then they'll scratch the door and yeah, make much more horrible noises. But yeah, so that was like easily done, like lavender. And then you can go on and do the bees exactly how I did them before. So yeah, so with the black. So yeah, just mind, you have to mind this area if you're going to work at the same time as doing other things. So I'm just going to flick out that wing. So there's sort of flicky, quick movements allow you like these really thin kind of lines. Sorry, not sure if I'm showing you very well. This sort of like kind of movement. And then you can take your yellow again, yellow. And your white.
I like how on these bees, because you've not used the water on these ones, you've used a white for like their wings. So get an idea of movement. Looks nice.
We're just flicking it out. And now the dots that come away as well. And their little legs. Right. So I've also used these with children. So I teach as well. And like acrylic sometimes with children does scare me, but actually it's very contained with these pens. Actually, you don't have to worry too much. They do work incredibly well. So as long as you've got protective material over your tables and things, like using these with kids is really actually quite safe. So yeah, so here we go. That's the bees. Now we've got the grass. So once that dried, I'd layer it up again with all the other green colors. So you've got all those colors in there. And then like the more dots here of yellow wild flowers. And so once that's sort of hanging up, wherever it's going to go, like on the ceiling or on a lampshade, I think would look really, really lovely. So, but that's just one idea. You could do so many other things. You know, you could do geometric shapes, geometric patterns, draw big flowers on there, blooming flowers. So they would work really, really well. So I'm going to go back to tea time. And now that's roughly dry, we can go back in and we can create our kind of shadow here, which I've done with the tea now on the time. So literally just going in, sorry, it's one of my dots. Going in, like just creating this shadow effect. So pretty much on every down stroke, I was going to, on the left-hand side of each letter, I'm going to do this shadowing.
One question I feel like I have to ask, which is not related. What's your dog called?
I've got two dogs actually. I've got Milo, and which is the Cocker Spaniel that just pops his head up, and I've got Yogi, who's a black lab who is shot through the other way, but he's occasionally woofing to come in. So they're worse than kids sometimes. There you go. I've done that on there, and then I used. Just going to pop some lids on because I'm just trying to be light blue wherever I've put that one now. There he is. Go all the way around. Give it, I suppose it kind of gives it that kind of vintage old lettering style, which is quite funky. I really love that.
Are you using that just outside of the green or on top of the green?
You could do either actually. It doesn't matter. At some points I'm going on the wood, and sometimes I'm kind of more on the green.
Yeah, so the coverage is good enough that it'll cover that green.
Yeah.
Without too much effort.
Yeah, I mean, once they're all dry, in theory they should cover completely, like on top. They'll stay their color on top. They shouldn't, you know, shouldn't alter. They're quite thick and heavy pigmented, so it's you haven't added any water to it, so it shouldn't be opaque or anything. It should stay quite a strong color. Just moving the tray around for ease. It's coming around. I mean, at any point if you feel like the pen's not letting enough ink through, You can just pump it slightly just to bring the ink down, like I am now. So yeah, it's just really simple, like a pen, like any other pen you'd have. All right, nearly there. It's gonna come down here. And the black is slightly wet still, but it's not really transferring. And the nibs are actually really easy to clean, so I'm not too worried.
So we have a question that says, when you do shadows on a lettering, is it generally just on the left of the downstrokes? I get confused with what shadows.
Basically, if you duplicated this and slightly moved it across, that's basically how it should be, essentially. If that makes sense. Does that make sense to you guys? So you, and it was, if you turn the back layer of the tea time to black and you just move the top layer across, that's generally how your shadow would work. So yeah, so in theory, it's just, I mean, this would have created a slight shadow here and here and there. And then this one would have technically created a bit of a shadow. So
someone else has said the dark, my brain's not working out. The dark goes on the tip of the light one, but you can easily wash that off. Is that following the same rules of?
You don't wash it off. You just literally. So if I've accidentally come in with it, let's have a go here. Let's just give an example. Right, I've got yellow and I've got. Okay, let's do worst case scenario. Okay, so black. Yeah. Yellow. Oops. Oh no. My nib is now, I don't know if it's going to focus in, but obviously that's got black on it. You just keep moving your nib a little bit on a piece of paper, pump it pretty much. It's all gone. So they're pretty easy just to clean and get rid of that, what you've accidentally put on the nib. I mean, you might want to mix or go quite close and slightly have a gradient effect of some, I don't know, saying black into yellow. That shouldn't necessarily be a problem. You just obviously do it and then clean your nib how I just did then. You just give it a few strokes, pump it a couple of times just to clear it all out, and then the nib's clean and ready to use again for its purest color form, if that makes sense. So yeah, so they're really quite good like that. So you don't have to worry, especially when the kids are using them and you know they go over a wet color that they've obviously been told not to. And then you can just easily clean it out. So it's they work really well in that respect, so that's really cool. So yeah, I'm just going to head back to this. I just had done loads of dots. I just want to create loads of other dots all over it. keep it quite fun and exciting. And then once you peel off that heart, you'll reveal that you've just left the green. So let's go in with some white.
We've just got just under 10 minutes to go. So if anyone has any questions, make sure to get them in before the end.
That's gone really fast, a lot faster than I thought. So yeah, I mean, if anyone wants me to slow down and show them something else, then that's absolutely fine. If there's anything in particular that anyone would like to see. So I'm going in with these dots a lot more concentrated near the heart. I'm going to go and grab another color. Give that one a shake. There you go, you can hear that ball going in there to mix the paint up a little bit. Get that a bit more stronger. Right, so let's reveal this little heart and see how it looks. Oh, I didn't press down very well. So in theory, that would be a stencil of a heart. Unfortunately, because we're live, it hasn't worked. That's my fault. The masking tape wasn't pushed down far enough. But
Always
I hope,
happens when you're live.
yeah. But actually, it's the paint's still a bit wet. You can kind of scrape off with your finger slightly. Yeah. But obviously, once this is fully dried, it's like on, completely on. So you wouldn't be able to do this. It's just because it's still slightly wet. Oh, that's a big bark. That means business. There we go. There we go. I don't know. Can you see that? Does that show through?
Yeah, you can see that one. Looks lovely.
Brilliant. Fabulous. Okay, so I don't know if you'd like to see anything quickly. I'll just do a little peony on the back, perhaps. So, okay.
Yeah, that would be great. We've got 4 minutes if you want to be precise, but
I'll try my hardest. Okay, let me see what we have. So I'm going to go with my lighter. So peonies. And go in. They're frilly and fluffy. So I'm just going to layer this with other colors. So that's the beginnings. And go in with my darker colors while it's still wet, so it can kind of mingle a little bit. But don't worry, because you can clean out your nib. And we can go in with some green. Coming in. With the leaves coming up. And always go in with the lighter yellow, green even. On the stems. Also go in with a darker. Like so. Just pump it to get that paint off. Go back in. Oh, terribly caught it with my hand, but that's fine. So yeah, there's a little quick peony for you. I hope I've done that in record time.
That's amazing. I'm impressed. You did it so
There we
quickly.
go. And then we'll put a little bit of yellow in the center. There we go.
That's almost perfect timing.
Oh, good. Brilliant. Well, I hope I've managed to show you how versatile they all are and how you can just change everything that you've got within your home. If you've run out of ideas and things of like what you, or you don't have the money to like buy a new everything, you know, don't throw things away and recycle and repurpose.
Amazing. Right. I'm going to spotlight me for now. So I'm back. This is the end of the webinar. Thank you, Louise. That was lovely. It was really nice to get a chance to see what you can do with edding. You created so many things in an hour. That was incredible. As I mentioned earlier, we've recorded this session. So if you've missed anything or you want to be able to go over it in your own time, we'll be sharing it over on the Cult Pens YouTube channel. We'll be closing the webinar shortly, but we'll hang in here for a couple more minutes just in case you have any further questions. But for now, I'd like to say a massive thank you to Louise again for sharing her expertise with us. And thank you to everyone for joining us. We hope you enjoyed this session and we hope to see you all again very soon.